Hi, we are Alira Camacho and Emily Gonzalez. We are going to talk about contamination on Caño Tiburones-Arecibo. The purpose of this assignment is to manage a PowerPoint presentation while recording it and also learn how to communicate important information in a technical and public way. On this assignment, we are going to provide information about contamination and the importance of the Caño Tiburones in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. The 5 most contaminated water resources on Puerto Rico. Caño Tiburones in Arecibo. Playa Guayanes in Yabucoa. Tropical Beach at the east of Puerto Rico in Naguabo. Balneario Manuel Nolo Molares in
Dije
Dorado,
Molares en vez de Morales.
and Balneario Punta Santiago in
Es que como estaba en English.
Caño Tiburones Arecibo is located between Arecibo and Barceloneta at the karstic north area. Is fed by superficial and subterranean waters. Is the principal natural resource of Puerto Rico and is recognized through the whole world as unique. Until 1998, it was used for agriculture and cattle. Caño Tiburones has around 7,000 streams and only 3,425 are designated as a natural reserve, protected by the Puerto Rico Department of Natural Resources and the Authority of Lands. It is habitat of at least 125 species of native and migratory birds, which includes la gallareta, el pato chorizo, la tigua, and la chichirria. Fishing and kayaking activities are allowed in the waters of the canal. Is one of the most extensive wetlands on the island. Until mid-20th century, this area consisted one of the most big and extended wetlands of the island, formed of sedimentary marine and organic deposits on top of the limestone rocks of the North region. The caño is part of a coastal strip of the aquifer of the karstic region. The superficial area that the caño consists is approximately 53 square miles. This strip of wetlands coastline was altered in the decades of 1940 through the construction of draining channels and the pumping stations on the east extreme and the west of the area. These draining channels were built with the goal to dry up these areas to plant sugarcane. The change has had grave consequences for this area and has affected the flora and unique fauna of the region. Some of these pumps carried over 105 million of gallons of water daily, including aquifer-bound water, of the wetlands. This caused the water canal levels to remain under sea level, which in turn made seawater return to the drain canals through the springs. The salt water mixed with the fresh aquifer water and flooded several previously freshwater areas. In 1998, the natural reserve known as Caño Tiburones was created, and Thanks to this, the zone was partially restored. The pumping system was fixed and fresh water has redistributed through the areas. Still, these waters are of poor quality due to its salinity, and for some contaminants and other reasons that we will mention later. Weather. The annual temperature on the Caño is an average of 26.9 centigrades, which equals 80.4 Fahrenheit. The annual precipitation varies between 1,000 and 2,000 millimeters. The greater period of precipitations comprises the months of May and September to November. The wind blows mostly from the south, southwest, and south and northwest. Soil. The soil is mostly composed with high quantities of water and organic material. This implies that the soils are from low permeability with poor drainage and they exhibit acid properties, so they are permanently or seasonally flooded. The high content of organic material on these soils is the result of the decomposition of organisms, both of vegetable and animal origins. The high content of organic material explains why this area was and still is used for agriculture. The using of agriculture is has had a results positive for the Puerto Rican agriculture. We have good soils for agriculture, and then the people create a problem by throwing contaminants, building hotels, and some other reasons that equals not having precautions with our nature. We live as if we have another place to go once we ruin planet Earth. Agriculture and natural resources are very important. This should bring attention to us since we live on an island. This island gets hit by hurricanes, earthquakes, and other natural disasters. We are exposed to these natural disorders. The major part of our food comes from the United States, and if we don't receive the boats, our supermarkets won't have anything to sell. We lived this recently with Hurricane Maria. We have to learn from this event and we have to plant more and relieve our agriculture so that we can live from the products of Puerto Rico. For that reason, we need to protect our soils, and we are not doing so. Hydrology. There are many factors that can determine the floating conditions of Caño Tiburones. First of all, underground freshwater springs that appear mostly in the southern part. Second, several salty springs that flow into the caño in the northern part. And third, the rainwater that rushes in the area and that reaches the pipe by runoff. One of its functions is to serve as a biology filter that purifies water that comes from the runoff so they can download it gradually to sea level. Low in sediments, heavy metals, and other contaminants. This natural reservoir is an essential hydrological component of the northern aquifer that controls the quantity and quality of the sweet water. We have seen that Caño Tiburones is an important natural resource on soils, hydrology, its unique and special flora and fauna. Flora. Its vegetation is typical of wetlands. The species that prevails on this place are hydrophytas, that are aquatic plants that needs waterlogged conditions so they can survive. The most common plant on Caño Tiburones is, as we mentioned, a hydrophyta, and its name is Yerba de Eneas. Contamination problems. One problem that we found an article says that it is suspected that the contamination is the product of a rupture of a pipeline of the Aqueduct and Sewers Authority (AAA) that discharges into the treatment plant that it is adjacent to the pipe. Because of this, tests have to be made. This article was from 2015 of the Diary El Nuevo Dia. Water samples were taken and then sent to a laboratory. The results reflected a high concentration of bacteria that are found on the gastrointestinal system of the human body. Contamination. Some of the causes are septic tanks from residential and commercial areas are probably indirectly or directly depositing contaminated water into the natural reserve. Also, the Cambalache thermoelectric plant from the AEE deposits their water on the Arecibo Bay and extracts approximately 1 million gallons daily of the aquifer water that is hydrologically connected to the caño. These events are likely causing damage to the basin and to the restoration efforts of Caño Tiburones. Civilians of the area report wariness about the ecologic well-being of the area. Also, there are reports, and if you visit Caño Tiburones, you can visually perceive that the Arecibo landfill is located just at the side of the natural reserve. Water tests have been made, and the results reports that contaminants of the leachate from garbage on the water. The Arecibo landfill is expanding through the weeks, receiving garbage, and the garbage and its leachate is reaching the natural reserve. They have found fishes and other species dead on the water because of the contaminants. Possible solutions for the contamination and the deterioration of Caño Tiburones is strengthening of participation, community services, and groups that care for the natural resources. Propose new bills, close the landfill, inform the community by doing activities and also including the Department of Natural Resources on the participation and protection of our unique Caño Tiburones Reserve. In conclusion, as we have seen, we have to treat our natural resources with more caution. Caño Tiburones is unique in Puerto Rico, and still We throw contaminated water,
Le doy
garbage,
finalizar
and a
ahí,
lot of
¿verdad?
things that affect the special environment. Care more for our planet and thank you. Hi, we are Alira